So first you need lard, and this is the lard that I rendered from the 20 pounds of pork fat. I made this recipe once before when I was living in Taiwan. I saw it online. There's this Chinese woman who lives in mainland China in Yunnan province, and she made this. Now her setup is amazing. She lives out in the countryside of Yunnan province, and she has this massive wok that's about this big, and it's built into like this cooktop. And it's just this amazing setup. And she's been doing YouTube videos for quite a while, and she's amazing. She does all kinds of handmade stuff, cooks a lot of traditional Yunnan food as well as Sichuan food, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of spice and peppers and Sichuan peppercorns and mala, and cooks with lots and lots of flavors. But this I kind of altered. What you do is you get your pork belly and you salt it, and you can season it with different stuff. I put a little bit of five spice, a little bit of chili, just a touch, not a lot. She put a ton of chili because that's her flavor profile. You then let it sit or marinate for 3 days. I put it in the fridge, but she didn't because she doesn't have to. Where she lives, at the time of year that she did this, you don't have to put it in the fridge. This is a way of preserving. So this preservation is actually quite old. The French do it. Obviously, Chinese do it. You're basically cooking something in its own fat, and then you're going to seal it in that fat. This crock, it's earthenware, and this is the lid. These are preservation crocks. You put water down in here, and that seals it. So it's just kind of a cool little thing. The things that they did back in the day. Here's a bigger one. Once it's done, I'm going to put all of them into here. So that's kind of the idea. So I'm letting the lard kind of get nice and hot, because what we're going to do is we're going to put the pork belly into the lard and cook it. So I have stuff on the stove that's already been done. And what I did today is I really cranked up the heat. So I was actually deep frying them, and it turned this gorgeous golden brown. But we'll get to that. First, this is starting to come up to temperature, and I have no idea how many of these. I only have 3 pieces of pork belly right here. I'm going to put them in here. I have no idea how many will fit. If they don't all fit, not a big deal. I'll use the big wok. Oh, all 3 might actually fit without overflowing. Can we do it? Let's see. Maybe I'm going to have to rearrange, stand some things up. Yeah. So I don't know if you know, but lard actually, there's a difference between lard and pork fat. That's pork fat. I don't know if you can see. That is pork fat right there. And it's a solid, and it's connected to the meat, bones, whatever. Now, when you cook it down, you get, when you render pork fat, you get lard. And this is lard. It's much easier to work with. It's more of a liquidy form. And then the byproduct of rendering pork fat into lard is you get basically cracklings. So this is crispy pork skin, pork fat. Let me bring it a little bit closer to the camera so you can see. You see? All right, so you see how it's bubbling and boiling away? That's what you want. But right now I'm going to turn this down because I want to switch this out, just to kind of show you what you can do. So literally, you're just going to let this just go, and it's just going to cook. And you literally let this cook until all the moisture goes away, so it doesn't bubble nearly as much. When you put something into hot fat, that bubbling action you get is the moisture in that thing cooking out. So eventually, when this cooks enough, oh, this smells amazing. This is what you get. I'm just going to bring the camera closer because I can't carry this. So, this is what you start with. It's kind of cool and sexy on its own, right? But this, you need to grab some chopsticks. This is what it turns into. You see that golden brown? The skin is starting to crisp up. We don't need it to crisp up right now, it's fine. But look at that. Look how tender this is. These are just plain old chopsticks. They're not sharp. But look at that. Look at how tender. It just sinks right in there. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm so excited. So, here's my big pot. I'm going to be filling it. Try to gently, as much as possible, put these in here. And hopefully not spill all of this hot pork fat. Lard all over the place, because that would hurt. Oh, wait. Don't do that. So here we are literally just ladling the fat on top, and we want to cover it. We want this to completely cover all of the pork, because this is how you preserve it. And so now, so long as you keep this in a cool, dark space, this does not need to be refrigerated. The 3 to 4 days that the pork belly sat in its marinade of salt, so I've salted it basically, so that's a preservation method. And now that I've cooked it, it's already cooked, and now sealing it in its own fat, it's another preservation method. But it must be completely submerged in its own fat. That's the only way. I don't know if you can see some of these yummy cracklings on the bottom here. Let me try to bring it up to the camera without falling, because I got grease all over my floor. You see those? Those beautiful crispy bits that I will be trying to pry off of my wok at a later time. So now with this, anytime I want pork belly, I'll just take it out, slice it up, and use it for whatever application I want. Isn't that amazing?